The moment you realize your mind is not under your control, is the moment everything starts to change. Because most people think they are in charge of their thoughts. But they're not. Their mind runs on autopilot, jumping from fear to doubt, from distraction to distraction, and they just follow it like a puppet. But not you. Not anymore. Because in this video, I'm going to show you how to control your mind, like this. Imagine waking up every day with absolute clarity. No overthinking. No hesitation. Just focus, discipline, and control. The kind of control that makes people look at you and wonder, what changed? Here's the truth nobody tells you. Your mind is not your enemy. It's a tool. But right now, it's a tool controlling you. You say you want to focus, but your mind drags you to your phone. You say you want to grow, but your mind feeds you excuses. You say you want discipline, but your mind chooses comfort. So what's the solution? You don't fight your mind. You train it. Let me tell you a quick story. There was a man who felt completely stuck in life. Every time he tried to improve, his mind would whisper things like, "You can't do this. You'll fail. Why even try?" And for years, he believed those thoughts. Until one day, something changed. Instead of listening, he started observing. Instead of reacting, he started questioning. Instead of obeying his mind, he started controlling it. And slowly, everything shifted. Because the first step to controlling your mind is this: awareness. You have to realize that you are not your thoughts. Read that again in your mind. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts come and go. They are temporary. They are random. And most of them are not even useful. But when you attach yourself to them, they become your reality. So the next time your mind says, "I can't do this," pause. And ask yourself, is that true? Or is that just my mind trying to stay comfortable? Because your mind loves comfort. It hates growth. It resists change. And that's why controlling your mind requires discipline. Not motivation. Motivation fades. Discipline stays. You don't wait until you feel like doing something. You do it, even when you don't feel like it. That's control. Another powerful technique is this. Control your focus. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If you focus on negativity, your life feels negative. If you focus on progress, your life starts to move forward. So stop feeding your mind garbage. Stop consuming things that drain your energy. Stop surrounding yourself with distractions. Because every time you lose focus, you lose control. And control is everything. Now listen carefully. Your mind is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. The more you ignore it, the weaker it gets. So how do you train it? Simple. You start small. You wake up when you say you will. You do what you said you would do. You keep promises to yourself. Because every time you break a promise to yourself, your mind learns that you're weak. But every time you keep it, your mind starts to respect you. And when your mind respects you, it obeys you. That's when everything changes. You become focused. You become disciplined. You become unstoppable. But let's be real for a moment. This is not easy. There will be days when your mind fights back. Days when you feel lazy. Days when you doubt yourself. Days when you want to quit. That's normal. But here's the difference between winners and everyone else. Winners don't listen to those thoughts. They act anyway. They move anyway. They push anyway. Because they understand something powerful. Feelings are temporary. But actions create results. So don't wait to feel ready. You will never feel ready. Start now. Train your mind now. Control your thoughts now. Because if you don't control your mind will control you. And that's a dangerous place to be. Now if you're still watching this, it means something inside you is ready to change. So here's what I want you to do. From today, start observing your thoughts. Start questioning them. Start taking control. Even if it's just one small decision at a time. Because small control leads to big power. And big power leads to a completely different life. If this video opened your eyes even a little bit, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. And if you're serious about transforming your mindset and becoming mentally strong, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Because this is where you learn how to level up your mind, your discipline, and your life. Now go. Take control. Stop. They hear something powerful, they feel motivated for a moment, and then they go right back to the same habits, the same thinking, the same life. But you're still here. So let's go deeper. Because controlling your mind is not just about stopping negative thoughts. It's about mastering the space between a thought and your reaction to it. That tiny space is where your power lives. Most people never see it. A thought appears, and instantly, they react. They feel angry, they speak. They feel lazy, they stop. They feel afraid, they quit. No pause. No control. No awareness. Just reaction. But when you train your mind, something incredible happens. That space starts to grow. A thought comes in. I don't feel like doing this. But instead of obeying it, you pause. You observe it. And then you decide. No. I'm doing it anyway. That's power. Let me show you another level of this. Your mind is constantly telling you stories. Stories about who you are. Stories about what you can or cannot do. Stories about your past. Stories about your future. And here's the dangerous part. You believe them. Without questioning. Without proof. If you failed before, your mind tells you, you're a failure. If someone doubted you, your mind says, you're not good enough. If something feels hard, your mind says, this isn't for you. But those are just stories. Not facts. And the moment you realize that, you take back control. Because now, instead of accepting every thought, you challenge it. You rewrite it. You upgrade it. Instead of, I can't do this, you say, this is difficult, but I'll figure it out. Instead of, I'm not disciplined, you say, I'm building discipline every single day. Instead of, I always fail, you say, I learn. I adapt. I improve. And no, this is not about lying to yourself. It's about choosing thoughts that serve you, instead of destroy you. Now let's talk about something most people ignore. Your environment. You can't expect to control your mind, if everything around you is designed to distract it. Think about it. Notifications. Social media. Noise. Chaos. People who don't take life seriously. All of that pulls your mind in different directions. And then you wonder why you can't focus. It's not because you're weak. It's because you're surrounded by distractions. So if you want control, you have to protect your mind. Create moments of silence. Reduce unnecessary noise. Spend time alone with your thoughts. Because silence is where clarity begins. And clarity is control. Now here's a truth that might hit hard. Most people are addicted to distraction. Not because they enjoy it, but because it helps them avoid themselves. When you sit in silence, you face your thoughts. Your fears. Your doubts. Your insecurities. And that's uncomfortable. So people run. They scroll. They watch. They escape. But you. You stay. You sit with it. You face it. Because that's how you grow stronger. And that's how you gain control. Let me give you a simple challenge. For the next few minutes, do nothing. No phone. No music. No distractions. Just sit and observe your thoughts. Watch how your mind jumps from one thing to another. Watch how it tries to pull you away. That's the same mind you're trying to control. And now you see why it's difficult. But also why it's possible. Because if you can observe it, you can control it. Now let's talk about consistency. Because one day of discipline won't change your life. One moment of control won't transform your mind. This is a daily practice. A daily decision. A daily commitment. You don't become mentally strong overnight. You build it, one choice at a time. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you get stronger. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you get stronger. Every time you choose action over excuses, you get stronger. And over time, that strength becomes your identity. You're no longer the person who overthinks. You're no longer the person who quits. You're no longer the person who doubts everything. You become someone else. Someone sharper. Someone calmer. Someone in control. But here's the final piece. And this is important. You don't need to control every thought. That's impossible. Thoughts will come. Good ones. Bad ones. Random ones. That's normal. The goal is not to stop thinking. The goal is to stop being controlled by your thoughts. Let them come. Let them pass. But don't let them decide your actions. Because your actions define your life. Not your thoughts. So from this moment forward, make a decision. You will not be a slave to your mind anymore. You will not let random thoughts control your future. You will not let comfort destroy your potential. You will take control. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because that's what separates the average from the elite. Now if this message is hitting you right now, don't just watch it and move on. Take action. Because at this point, you understand something most people don't. You understand that your mind is not something you blindly trust anymore. It's something you train. But there's a hidden layer to this. A layer that silently controls your thoughts without you even realizing it. Your habits. Not the big, obvious ones. The small, invisible ones. The way you start your morning. The way you respond to discomfort. The way you talk to yourself when things go wrong. These tiny patterns are shaping your mind every single day. And if you don't control them, they will control you. Let's break it down. The first few minutes after you wake up. That's when your mind is the most vulnerable. Most people wake up and instantly grab their phone. They flood their brain with noise. Messages. Videos. Opinions. Distractions. And before they even think for themselves, their mind is already influenced. Already scattered. Already out of control. But someone who is in control of their mind does something different. They protect that moment. They start their day with intention. Silence. Focus. Awareness. Even if it's just a few minutes. Because how you start your day often decides how you live your day. Now think about this. How do you react when something goes wrong? Do you panic? Do you complain? Do you blame? Or do you stay calm and think? Because control is not tested when things are easy. Control is revealed when things get hard. When plans fail. When pressure rises. When emotions hit. That's when your training shows. That's when your discipline matters. And that's when most people lose control. But not you. Because you've been preparing for that moment. You've been training your mind to stay steady, even in chaos. Let me give you another powerful shift. Stop trying to feel good all the time. That's a trap. Because life is not designed for constant comfort. There will be stress. There will be pressure. There will be moments you don't enjoy. And if your mind is trained to only act when it feels good, you will stay stuck. Instead, train your mind to act regardless of how you feel. You feel tired, you act. You feel unmotivated, you act. You feel uncertain, you act. Because action is what builds control. Not feelings. Feelings change. Action builds identity. And once your identity changes, everything else follows. Now let's talk about something deeper. Your internal voice. That voice in your head. The one that speaks when everything is quiet. For most people, that voice is negative. Critical. Doubtful. You're not good enough. You'll never make it. Why even try? And if you listen to it long enough, it becomes your truth. But here's the reality. That voice learned to speak that way. From past experiences. From other people. From failures. It's not your true voice. It's a programmed voice. And what is programmed can be reprogrammed. But only if you become aware of it. So the next time that voice speaks, don't ignore it. Don't fight it. Listen, and then respond. Replace it. Upgrade it. Turn "I can't" into "I'm learning." Turn "I'm weak" into "I'm improving." Turn "I'll fail" into "I'll try again." And over time, that voice changes. It becomes stronger. More supportive. More controlled. Now here's something most people won't tell you. Controlling your mind can feel lonely. Because once you start growing, you start seeing things differently. You start thinking differently. You start acting differently. And not everyone around you will understand that. Some people will stay comfortable. Some people will stay distracted. Some people will stay exactly where they are. And that's okay. Because your journey is not about fitting in. It's about leveling up. It's about becoming the person you know you can be. Even if that means walking alone for a while. Because temporary loneliness is better than permanent regret. Now imagine this version of yourself. You wake up focused. You move with intention. You don't waste time on things that don't matter. You don't get easily distracted. You don't overthink every decision. You don't quit when things get hard. That version of you exists. Not in the future. Right now. But it's hidden. Behind undisciplined thoughts. Behind weak habits. Behind lack of control. And every time you train your mind, you get closer to that version. Every time you choose discipline, you become that version. Every time you take control, you step into that version. So stop waiting to become someone else. Start acting like that person now. Because identity is not something you find. It's something you build. Moment by moment. Choice by choice. Action by action. Now listen carefully. This is where everything comes together. Control is not about being perfect. You will still have bad days. You will still have negative thoughts. You will still feel tired, distracted, unmotivated at times. That's human. But the difference is, you don't stay there. You don't let one bad moment turn into a bad day. You don't let one negative thought control your actions. You reset. You refocus. You take back control. Again and again. Until it becomes natural. Until it becomes who you are. And when that happens, Your life changes in ways you can't even imagine. Because a controlled mind creates a powerful life. Now if you've made it this far, that means you're serious. You're not just watching. You're learning. You're thinking. You're ready. So don't keep this to yourself. Because controlling your mind is not just about discipline, or focus, or awareness. It's about identity. Who you believe you are, determines how your mind behaves. If deep down you see yourself as someone who is easily distracted, your mind will keep pulling you toward distractions. If you see yourself as someone who lacks discipline, your mind will keep choosing comfort. If you see yourself as someone who quits, your mind will always find a reason to stop. But the moment your identity changes, your mind follows. Not the other way around. So instead of saying, I'm trying to be disciplined, say, I am disciplined. Instead of, I'm working on focus, say, I am focused. Instead of, I hope I become strong, say, I am becoming stronger every single day. Because your mind listens to what you repeatedly tell it. And over time, it believes it. Now this is not about pretending. It's about direction. It's about deciding who you are becoming. And aligning your actions with that identity. Because if your actions don't match your words, your mind won't believe you. So you prove it. Through small wins. Through daily effort. Through consistency. You say you're disciplined. Then you wake up when you said you would. You say you're focused. Then you remove distractions and get the work done. You say you're strong. Then you keep going when things get hard. That's how identity is built. Now let's talk about pressure. Because pressure breaks most people. But for someone who controls their mind, pressure becomes fuel. Think about it. When things get intense. When expectations are high. When the stakes feel heavy. Most people panic. They overthink. They doubt themselves. But someone in control does the opposite. They slow down. They breathe. They focus. They trust their training. Because they understand something powerful. Pressure doesn't create weakness. It exposes it. So if you feel pressure, good. It means you're being tested. And every test is an opportunity to grow stronger. To sharpen your mind. To prove to yourself that you are in control. Now here's another truth. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. If your daily routine is weak, your mind will be weak. If your habits are inconsistent, your control will be inconsistent. So stop relying on motivation. Build systems. Create structure. Decide when you work. Decide when you rest. Decide what you consume. Decide what you avoid. Because structure creates freedom. And freedom comes from control. Now let's go even deeper into something most people avoid. Pain. Everyone wants control. Until it requires discomfort. Until it requires sacrifice. Until it requires doing things that are hard, boring, repetitive. But that's where control is built. In the moments you don't feel like showing up. But you show up anyway. In the moments you want to quit. But you keep going. In the moments everything feels slow. But you stay consistent. Because pain is not your enemy. It's your training ground. It's shaping your mind. Strengthening your discipline. Building your control. So don't run from it. Use it. Now imagine this. A situation where you would normally lose control. Someone disrespects you. Something doesn't go your way. You feel frustration building up. Old habits would take over. You react. You speak without thinking. You lose control. But now, you pause. You breathe. You observe the emotion, without letting it control you. And then you respond, calmly. That right there is mastery. That's what all of this is leading to. Not just controlling your thoughts, but controlling your reactions, your emotions, your behavior. Because that's what defines you. Now let's bring this all together. Controlling your mind is not one action. It's a way of living. It's how you think, how you act, how you respond, how you show up every single day. It's built through awareness, strengthened through discipline, protected through focus, and proven through action. And once you truly master it, everything else becomes easier. Your goals, your habits, your growth, your life. Because a controlled mind creates controlled actions, and controlled actions create powerful results. Now this is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. Make the decision. You will no longer let your mind run uncontrolled. You will no longer be pulled in every direction. You will no longer live on autopilot. You take control. Starting today. Starting now. And if this message has pushed you even a little bit, don't ignore it. Act on it. And now, there's something even deeper you need to understand. Because up to this point, you've learned how to observe your thoughts, how to discipline your actions, how to build control. But there's still one silent force that can destroy everything if you ignore it. Your triggers. Those moments, those situations, those patterns that instantly take control of your mind before you even realize what's happening. It could be stress. It could be rejection. It could be boredom. It could be comparison. 1 second you're calm, focused, in control. The next second, your mind is racing. You're overthinking. You're reacting. You're slipping back into old habits. That's not weakness. That's conditioning. And if you don't identify your triggers, you will keep losing control in the same situations, again and again. So here's what you do. You study yourself. You pay attention to the moments you lose control. What happened just before it? What were you feeling? What were you thinking? Because awareness of your triggers is the beginning of mastering them. Once you see the pattern, you can interrupt it. Instead of reacting automatically, you prepare a response. You create a rule. If this happens, I will do this instead. Simple. Powerful. Effective. For example, if you feel the urge to scroll endlessly, you stop and take a breath and put the phone down. If you feel anger rising, you pause, step back, and stay silent. If you feel doubt creeping in, you take action immediately, no hesitation. Because control is not about avoiding triggers. It's about responding differently to them. Now let's talk about something that silently weakens your mind. Overconsumption. Too much information. Too many opinions. Too many voices telling you what to do, how to think, how to live. And in the middle of all that noise, you lose your own voice. Your own clarity. Your own control. Because your mind becomes crowded. Confused. Overloaded. So simplify. You don't need to watch everything. You don't need to listen to everyone. You don't need constant input. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is step back and think for yourself. Because a clear mind is a controlled mind. Now here's another level most people ignore. Energy. You can't control your mind if your energy is low. If you're constantly tired, drained, burnt out, your mind will always choose the easiest path. Distraction, comfort, avoidance. So take care of your energy. Rest when needed. Move your body. Fuel yourself properly. Because a strong mind needs a strong foundation. And that foundation is your energy. Now let's go even deeper. Forgiveness. Not for others, but for yourself. Because one of the biggest reasons people lose control of their mind is because they're stuck in the past. Regret. Mistakes. Failures. They replay them over and over again. And every time they do, they weaken their present. But listen carefully. You can't control your mind if you're still chained to what already happened. So forgive yourself. Learn from it. And move forward. Because control lives in the present, not in the past. Now imagine this moment. You're faced with a choice. The old you. Or the new you. The old you reacts. The old you hesitates. The old you chooses comfort. But the new you pauses. Thinks. Acts with intention. Chooses growth. And that choice happens every single day. Sometimes every single hour. And every time you choose the new version of yourself, you strengthen it. You make it real. You make it permanent. Until one day, it's no longer a choice. It's who you are. Now understand this. Mastery doesn't come from one big decision. It comes from thousands of small ones. The way you respond. The way you think. The way you act when nobody is watching. That's what builds control. That's what builds power. That's what builds you. So don't look for shortcuts. There are none. This is a process. A journey. A daily commitment to becoming better than you were yesterday. And yes, there will be moments you slip. Moments you lose focus. Moments you fall back into old habits. But that's not failure. That's feedback. You don't quit. You adjust. You learn. You come back stronger. Every single time. Because someone who truly controls their mind doesn't expect perfection. They expect progress. Now let's bring this to your reality. Right now. As you're watching this, you have thoughts in your head. Some telling you this is powerful. Some telling you it's too hard. Some telling you you'll try later. That's your mind. And this is your moment to decide. Do you listen to those thoughts? Or do you take control? Because everything you've heard so far means nothing if you don't act. So take one thing. Just one. And apply it today. Observe your thoughts. Control your reaction. Keep one promise to yourself. That's how it starts. Simple. Small. Powerful. And if you keep going. If you stay consistent. If you refuse to go back to who you were. Your life will change. Not instantly. But permanently. Now if this message has been speaking to you. If you felt something shift inside you. Don't ignore it. Share this with someone who needs this wake-up call. And if you're ready to fully take control of your mind, your habits, your future. Subscribe to this channel. Because this is where average ends. And control begins. Now go. Stay aware. Stay disciplined. Stay in control. And become the person your mind once told you you could never be.